Hi everybody. Today we're going to be making this cute little origami dinosaur. This one was made with origami paper, actual origami paper, and it works quite well for making the dinosaur. And this one here was made with a designer paper, and here's another designer paper. And then here's designer paper. And here's another kind of designer paper I thought was kind of cute because it looked furry. But some designer papers I don't like to use. I mean, like, here's one right here. I don't like to use it because when you fold the tail, when you go to fold the whole thing in half, it ends up ripping because it's too thick. I do like using the regular origami paper, and I like to use the designer paper if it's around the weight of typing paper. If it feels like typing paper or maybe a teeny bit thicker, then it's okay to use. But on this one, you got to be careful you don't get too thick. You know, it's just no fun when they're just too thick. Well, let me get started here, and we'll show you how to do this. Well, I've got here is I've got a green piece of paper. Seems appropriate for a dinosaur. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to square this paper. I need a square to make the dinosaur. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to square off this paper. I'll show you how to do that. What you do is you take, and from one point of the paper, you're going to fold it over onto the other side. Just right up to the edge. Just make a nice fold in there. Just like that. And then grab your scissors and just cut off this excess piece here. Now see, I'm just cutting off all that excess. Now when I'm done here, I'm going to have my nice little square. There we go. And now I've got my almost pretty good square. See there? Now that I've got my line right here already, I'm going to go ahead and fold it in the opposite direction and fold this tip down to this tip. And then I'm going to make sure that those lines are creased in there real well. Now here's a place where I do things a little differently than other people. Normally, when you're making this kind of a dinosaur, people, when they go to do this folding it in half, they normally just want you to mark the paper like right here and right here so that you have little indentations showing you where the 1/3 mark is. But I like to just go ahead and fold it all the way, one side to the other side. Just in this direction, not both ways. Now I'm just going to put a good crease in there. Now, if you'll notice on my other ones, you don't really see all those other crazy little lines that might be present. Now this one was made the same way as this one, so that line really doesn't matter that much. Now it does matter when you come to do your measurements. Now I'm going to mark this so that you can see where I'm measuring, just so that you can see where I'm going to measure from. Those are the only two marks I need for a 1/3 mark, because I'm going to be folding my paper into thirds in this direction. A lot of times you see people fold up to here, but that's in fourths. So what I want to do is come all the way up to here, because this is the middle of the paper, so that'll take me to a 1/3 mark. So I'm going to start down here and get myself a little tip first. There, I got a little tip there. Then I'm going to bring this up to match that line I made there. Okay, there's that line. See how I'm almost right at that line? That's what you want. You want to be right there. or as close as you can get. Now that's your 1/3 marker right there. If I fold this thing backwards, you'll have another third. Like this would fold right, if you notice, this would fold. If you fold it this way, let me get it right on the crease. I'll do it just so that you can see it. Because then you'll know how to do a 1/3 mark on anything. Now see how it's right there. It's close. You know, if I would have done it perfectly, it would have been perfectly there. You know, but it's not real important. It's just you want to be close. Now, because I've already marked this one side here, I'm not going to have to mark for the third again on this side while I'm folding this. But what I'm going to do is I want to take this side right here. I just turned this back over. This is all we've done so far is we came up here, we went to the point, and we marked it right up with that mark right there, just to make sure we had a 1/3 mark. Now forget anything else I showed you, because that was just to show you that this is absolutely 1/3. This is 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. You know, if you see those marks in there. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. And then what we're going to do is, now that this is folded in a third, we're going to fold this back on itself up to this line here. This side right here is going to fold against this line here. We're going to start right down here because this is a cardstock, so it'll rip if I don't, this is like cardstock. This is hard paper, but I'm going to try to be careful with it. I told you how I don't like using that, but for the color's sake and you being able to see what I'm doing, that's the only reason I'm using this. Now I'm folding it all the way up to the edge, as you notice. Now because this is already marked, all we got to do is fold this side over to this side. And we've also got to fold in there. Now there we go. I could bring that over just a little bit more and it would be better. There we go. Much better. Now I want to fold this side in half over itself. This side is going to meet this side, starting with the little point, to protect your paper. And put a good crease. Now because we've got, now this is where you should be right now. I mean, if you're folding along with me. It's like an accordion. Just like this. We folded this side down, then we folded it back. Then we folded this side down, and then we folded it back. And so that's why you've got this diamond shape here. You know, if you look all the way, you got a diamond shape there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get to the other side, the same way as we did this side. We're going to open it up. And because we took this side down first to here, we're going to turn our paper around like this. And we're going to start working with this corner. Now this corner here, we're going to make a little fold right here just to get a little crease in this little corner to start our 1/3 mark, because we don't want to rip that paper, remember? If I can get that in there. I just want to get a little point started there. Then I'm going to bring this up here, and I want it to match where that line is. Now my little tip right there is pointing right at that black line we marked. It's right in the right place. It's in a good place. Now we're going to crease our line in there. Now let me show you that up close so that you can see that I'm very close to it. So I'm happy with where it is right now. You could bring it up a little bit if you wanted to, but I'm happy with where it is. It'll still work out. And then I'm going to fold this side, like we did on the other side, down to this bottom line here, this bottom crease, right on top of the same paper. See there, like we did before, we got this little springy piece of paper here. And then we want to do the other side. We've got our third marked right there. So we're just going to fold this paper over on this side, over onto this side, starting with the bottom. Get that little point in there. Don't mind my voice. I'm just getting over a cold. I hope I don't make you nuts. I sound like a cartoon character. Sometimes. But anyway, now we're going to fold this over itself back to this line here. This line will meet this line, starting with the corner. Now we got it done. Now we're going to open that back up. And if you'll notice, we've got like a diamond type shape in the center. Then we've got a fold here, fold line here. That diamond line has a fold in it. Then we've got another fold, a top fold line right here, right here. And then we've got this little squarish type, diamond-y type fold right here. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to push this, the line in there. That's going to push back. And we're going to pinch it and just sit it down. Just like that. All I did was I pinched that little square. You're going to see all the lines going up and the lines going down. Well, the sides are away from it. That's where you'll find these little squares. And you're going to squeeze it, put it down. And then you can push it whichever way you want it. Now, another way that you can do this is you can just grab the edge of the first line you see. Just fold that first line down and go up to that little square. Then start on the other side and go up to that square. And then you've done the same thing. You know, you can go either way. It's all good. See? We're up like that. We're open like that. And then we just shoo and put it down. Now we're going to turn it over. We're going to actually do the same thing, but the little squares are a little different. For one, you've got this little connector on the back here. And two, this line is a little bigger. So we're going to pull up on, see the crease in there? See the creases in there? That's your last part to your diamond crease. You're going to just pull that up. And as you come down, you've got that little piece like that in the middle. That's going to be your leg. But what we're going to do is we're going to push in on one side, and we're just going to lay it down, kind of following the line right there. See? Then we're going to put a good crease in there, right here. Then we're going to fold it over the other way and put a little crease in there. Now I'm going to mark this because I want to show you what I'm doing as I go. because there's going to be a time that you're going to have to see that. Just like that. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to pull. Let me turn it around so you can see it. You're going to pull. You can either push in the middle right here and pull it up. That's probably your easiest bet right there, is push in the middle and pull it up. Or you can lay each of these sides down and follow it up. I like to just push it down like this. It's like this. You know, it's like this. And then I just pulled it up. And that little tag from the other side shows. Then I fold it either way. Doesn't matter which way first, as long as you get a good fold in there. Because when the fold is our marker. Now I'm going to mark it so you can see it. Just so that you can see it. You don't have to do this. I just want you to see this when we're doing things. You need it. Sometimes you need a marker. Yeah. Now, anyway, and that's not marked perfectly, as you can see. So what I want you to do next is I want you to twist this a little bit so that when you lay it down, hold this down and kind of twist it where this comes up a little bit, this side comes up a little bit, and this side comes down, and you kind of make a little V in your paper, just like that. See? Now I'm squishing down that place that I made a little bit of a, see, that's how much I bent it. That's how much I twisted it to make that V shape. Now, if I went straight down, it would be like this. But what I did is I pulled it outward. I've got my finger underneath here. Got my finger underneath here, and I'm pulling it outward. And then I'm just kind of pushing it down to make sure it stays open. Like that. Then I'm making sure that folds in there real good. Like that. See there? I did that. And it's on both sides. It was just folded out. I just folded that V in there. Now what you're going to need to do is where that V is, you're going to take that tip there, and you're going to fold it right in between that V, up as high as you can get it. And then press a mark in your paper there. See? All I did here is it was out like this, and I brought the tip up, and I pressed it right in the middle where that V is. See that V there? I'm pressing it right in the middle. Then I'm going to take the other side, and I'm going to bring it all the way down to here and put a fold in it. This is the head side. I'm going to put it right down here, just touching the edge. Doesn't need to go over, just right at the edge. I'm going to put a bend right there. Now I'm going to make sure that's in there real good. Then I'm going to bend it back to me, up to that edge there, right in the back. That marks how big I'm going to make his head. Because this right now is his head, what I'm playing with right here. I see mine went just a little bitty bit over, but that's not a big deal, because that's going to go inside anyway. So it's really not a big deal. Now I'm going to open it back up, and I'm going to come down here to the legs. These are the legs. And this part of the leg that's open like this, I am going to fold that up as high as I can fold it without ripping the paper. You can't fold it up very high, and it's got to be in a point down here. So start with your little point on the foot. I just start with a little point there and bring it up without ripping my paper. Let's see how I brought that up? I didn't rip the paper because that's where it stopped right there. It wouldn't let me go any further. And there's a little fold like in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this open, and I'm going to make that fold there that I just showed you. I'm going to make it go in. I'm going to fold the whole fold that I just made in. See? See that little fold right there? There, now I made it go in. I'm going to just fold it down and crease it good. See? Let me show you that again on the other side. The only side you can do that on is the side that's open like this. If you're doing it on the side that's not open like this, you're doing the wrong side. So what we want to do is we want to put a little point here first. Let's get a little point in there. Boy, my voice is going quick. I started out being able to talk to you. And then, see how I just folded that over? See how I folded that over? Yours should look like that. Then you open it up, and when you open it up, you are reversing it. See how I'm reversing that? I'm just pushing it down in. And then I'm folding the rest of the fold that I already had there down under. See? It's not a real big deal. I'm folding it under and squashing it down as I go. And if it doesn't want to go all the way, it's all right, because it's going to be the foot anyway. It's not going to be a big deal. See, there it is. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to fold this whole thing in half. So you're going to turn it over like this, and you're just going to fold it in half. As close as you can get it. It's kind of nice to be as close as possible. Sometimes if you lay it upside down, you can get it better. See how you can see his little legs? I always think that's cute. I feel like I'm getting somewhere once I get to this point. See his legs? Now you can tell it's starting to become a dinosaur. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to work on his little head. What you're going to do is you're going to push here. You're going to fold up. Let's do it this way. You're going to fold this up because you want these two ends to meet each other, and at the same time, see where that is? You want those two ends to touch each other. Wait a second, let me mark it. See those two ends right? That's where your fold was. You want these two ends to fold in on each other, and as they're folding in, you're kind of making your own little fold right here in the middle of the paper. And you're bringing that right up on top of itself, just like that. And when you're done, it's almost an L in there. It's almost a... Now this is hard paper I'm working with, so you know, you should be having an easier time because I'm using the heavy paper here. But I'm having to be careful at the same time because I know that it'll rip on me. Okay, now from this point, this is the hardest part of the dinosaur, I believe, is I'm going to mark this so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put lines on here so that you can see where we folded. See, this is right where we folded. Right there on those lines. That's where we folded it in, because I want you to see what it's doing. There you go. You got a diamond there right now. This is a diamond. And then you've got, when you open it up, don't open it up down here, just on the top. You want to open all the sides. You this. You want to open the whole thing and kind of push it up so you can see the whole inside of that head. Now, if you notice, we've got 3 diamonds now. We've got one here, we've got one here, and we've got one here. You see the diamonds? See how it goes up like a fan on each of those diamond points. Well, this diamond point is going to be reversed and go down. So we just want to kind of squish that one in like that. Now that one's in. Now you've got 2 diamonds left. There's the center one. Now you got 2 left here. These are going to go on each side. So all you're going to have to do is tuck in on this outside piece right here and put your finger on top of the diamond and fold it down. And then you've got one side of his head. Do the same thing over here. Put your thumb here and push in. And right here, you're going to push down. Now you've got his face. Now you've got his head there. Is that too difficult? Just rewind this. If you didn't understand that, rewind that. Because that's a hard part to. Once you get that one, you're in good shape on this dinosaur. Now what we do is we open this up a little bit on his nose. This is the tip. And we're going to just push that down under. Just like that. Then we're going to fold him back up. See how I'm folding back up? Just like that. Now, I don't leave it like that. A lot of people push the nose in further there. But what I like to do is I like to take my thumb now, right here on this nostril. I like to make him nostrils. Just like that. I just push that down. Just like that. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to push it down. I want this to stay in place, but I want to just push that down. Wait, let me get that. I want to push it down a little bit so that it looks like nostrils, kind of. Like he's got some nostrils on there. And it also rounds his face a little bit. So he's more like a dinosaur. But see his little nostrils? He's kind of got little nostrils. And it'll look more like it, too, when I put the bends in his head. I like to bend it in a little bit right here, too. Because I like the head a little bit rounder than what most people like. See, I'm just taking my thumb and I'm just pushing in on those areas. And then I push it together. Now this one didn't go in. Just a second. Just pushing it in a little bit. Just to give him a little bit more, see how it changes the look of the dinosaur? I like that. I like that change. I like his nose in a little bit further too, though. I don't like this right here. Let me change this a little bit. There. That's a little better. See there? I like that. Well, anyway, now we get to the neck. When we get here, we're pulling his neck back. See that line right there? We're pulling that neck back, and then we're pulling the body down. We're pulling the body down, and as we're pulling the body down, we're going to push right here, which is going to give him a neckline. See there? Now he's got a neckline there, see? He's got just another feature right there. Well, that feature right there is also going to be his arms when we're done. See there? Let me show you that again. It was like this. Now see how that fold is right there? All we did is, on that fold line that was already there, we pushed up, and then we grabbed this area right here, and we pushed down. This area right here above it, we squeezed it and pulled down. And that gave him his neckline, just like that. Now we're going to go over here to his tail and put a couple. Now this is where I got to be careful because this is where it rips on me with this kind of paper. Now over here, we're just going to bend his tail up like this. You know, I'm going to do it on that line. Just get rid of that line. The line bugs me. So I'm going to pull it up right there. And I'm going to just bend it back down. Now see how there's a little bend in there? All you have to do is pull that down. And you've got that one bend in there. Now you can get another bend. Let's go a little further down on the tail. Yeah, well, let's just do it under. It's better when you do it under. Under and out. Did you see how I did that? I just went down, and then I just folded it up without taking the fold all the way out. I folded it down. Now I got to be careful here. This is that paper that rips. And boy, I got lucky this time. Now I like to bend right in here. I like to bend his body a little bit so that his tail kind of curls around, you know, like a really cool dinosaur, like his dinosaur would be. You know, now we're going to come back over here to the feet. Now, remember where we folded that leg in? Now we're going to pull that leg back out again. We're just pulling that piece of, see the line there? And we're going to fold this up in the middle of this area. You're just going to point it up like that. Get a pretty good piece so that you have a nice size foot. I like to do the same thing on the other side at the same time so that I get the same size foot. So let's pull this one up too. See? Pull that paper out. And then at the same time as you're doing this one, pull this one up. And then you'll be even. You'll have even feet. It just makes it nice. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fold this in half going forward. Just like this. See, there's his head. And here he is. Here's his tail that I'm holding on to. And I'm just going to be folding that straight down with the bottom of the foot. See how I folded that toward the bottom of the foot there? Now that part that you've just pulled out, I want you to fold that right back in and see what happens. Now if you fold that right back in, look what happens. You form a foot. Isn't that totally cute? Now let's go to the other side. Now we're going to fold this one in half. And make sure we have it in the same direction as the other one. I'm folding it in. I'm trying to put a little crease in there. Just like that. And then that extra stuff that we got there, that fold that we unfolded, we're going to just start up here even and just push it back in. See? And then look, his foot is just so cute. And you've got his foot there. Now I'm going to come back up to his area right here, because I want his arms to show. So I'm going to push in right there, and you're going to see his arms starting to show. And he's going to look more 3D. See? See his arms starting to show? Isn't that cool? Now I'm going to get the other side. See how the other side looks plain? Now when I push this in, all I'm doing is all I'm doing is pushing that neck in. Pushing that piece. I'm pushing the paper down. Just like that. I'm just pushing that bit. Now look at that. Isn't that cute? It's just cool how these papers just fold up so easily like this. You can make some really cool stuff. Now on his head, I like to make his head a little rounder, more like a real head, so it's more 3D. So I pull up on the jaw a little bit, just to give him a little more rounded head. Now you'll notice on most of my videos, I always change something, because I'm never happy with things the way they are. You know, I mean, some of the things that other people do, I really appreciate. I always have this thing in me about coming up with something new that's more exciting. Anyway, on the back of this arm, I like to push it on the back of this arm a little bit, right up here a little bit. You know, let me get this bottom first. Once you get the belly, his arm's really gonna start showing. This is the belly, and you want to push in on that. Just make a round area right there. See how I'm just kind of pushing it in, and I'm making it rounded. Isn't that cute how the arm's starting to show? Now let's get over here this side and do the same thing with this side. Now I'm just pushing in the middle part, and I'm bending that paper, making a tip all the way up. See a little tip? It's coming around, and it'll go back into a tip. Just to, you know, give him a little oomph. But there, his arms are really starting to show good there. You know, now on his legs. On his legs, I like to push in on the back side of the leg the same way as we did the tummy. Now watch this. I'm going to put a little point right there. I'm going to fold it just barely right there. And then I'm just going to get pulling it in, and then I'm going to bring it back to a point when I get to his foot. See how I rounded it? And I'm going to put a little bend right there just so it really looks a little more fierce. Look at that. Ooh, he's looking cool. Okay, let's go to the other side. And we're going to bend this side. Now, like I said, start out with a little piece right there, like you're trying to make a point, like you're trying to do a corner. See there? I'm trying to do a corner. And then just put a little more, and a little more, and then start coming back down to a little point again. See how we do that? Now, I like to put the crease in. I don't know if everybody will like putting the crease in, but I kind of like to put a crease in because it just makes me look cool. See how cool that looks? And it kind of stands out. A little bit robotic, but it's kind of cool. Right here's another place that's a nice place to put a crease. Just if you open it up a little bit and just push down, put a round place in his body right there. It's kind of hard to do with this hard paper. Now I'm pushing it like crazy over here, trying to get it down there, but it does look better when you get that in there. Although with this hard paper, it's kind of hard to tell how good that does look with that pushed in. If you push in from the top and the bottom, you know, it might work a little bit better. Yeah, that's working better. I was pushing in on the top and the bottom, and that kind of made it a little easier. Now another place you can put it is right here in front of the leg. I like to put it there too. Wait a minute, let me get that started. Round, little piece at the top, and round it to the foot. Round it down to the foot. See how that gets? And then same thing on this side. Well, shoot, we didn't do this side yet. I'm just bending that in. See? I'm just bending it in. Kind of a point, round, thicker, and then point. Same thing on the back side. I did do the back side of that one. Now with this heavier paper, because I did it with heavier paper, you're probably... Oh no, he's doing fine. I thought I'd have to put tape in him. But if your paper is ever too heavy for you, just take a little bit of Scotch tape ball and put it in the middle, and it'll hold it up really good. Or if it gets to where the kids can't do it anymore, do the same thing. But you can put a little eyeball on there. You know, you can one of those little boggly eyeballs, and the kids love that kind of stuff. Now here's baby and sister, and you turn it around so you can see it. And then here's another brother. And here's a brother with another mother. You know, I mean, you can just make so many. Kids can have a blast with these things. There's just so many, and there's a lot of different kinds of dinosaurs. So eventually I'll have more dinosaurs on for you, but I just haven't had time to put them in between work and school. I just haven't had time. But that's the way you put your dinosaur together. And if you have any questions, or if you want it shown with a different kind of paper or something, leave a note for me, and I'll get around to getting that. And I'll get that set up for you. Okay, well, you guys have a good job. If I showed it to where you could understand, I would really like to know. So you guys have a good day, and God bless.